Naledi grows up in a crowded South African township where every day feels like a test of strength. Her father, a strict and practical man, teaches her that emotions are a weakness. He often reminds her, "Love won't feed you," pushing her to believe that only money can protect her from struggle. Naledi listens quietly, but deep inside she carries a different truth. She has always felt that people survive through compassion, support, and connection. Still, she has never dared to challenge him, because his voice has shaped her whole life. Every morning, she walks through the noisy streets watching people hustle to make a living. Vendors shout prices, taxis honk non-stop, children run between houses, and neighbors laugh loudly as they begin their day. Naledi notices how even in chaos, small acts of care are everywhere. Someone helping a friend carry heavy bags, a stranger giving directions, a mother comforting a crying child. These moments make her heart warm, even though she tries to hide it from her father. At home, their small house feels heavy with pressure. Her father counts every coin, worried about bills, rent, and food. He fears failure so deeply that he pushes Naledi to think the same way. But Naledi can't ignore how kindness changes everything she experiences outside. She sees joy in people who have almost nothing. She sees strength in unity. She feels hope in simple gestures. And each day, those feelings grow stronger. She works at a small local shop, where she listens to customers share their personal stories. Some talk about heartbreak, others about dreams they still chase despite difficulty. Naledi always responds with softness and understanding. People enjoy talking to her because she makes them feel valued, something many don't experience often. Her father would call this wasting time. But Naledi feels alive when she connects with others. Although she hides her thoughts, she knows there is power in love. She just doesn't yet know how to prove it. In quiet moments, she wonders what her life would look like if she followed her heart instead of fear. She wants to bring change, but she hasn't found the courage. Still, something inside her keeps growing. A small flame of belief that one day she will show her father that survival is more than money. It is the strength of the heart, the bond between people, and the ability to lift others even when you are still learning to rise. Naledi loses her job at the garment factory after a sudden closure that shocks everyone in her area. One moment she is sewing uniforms with her usual calm smile, and the next the manager announces that the business cannot continue. Workers cry, argue, and gather in small groups trying to understand what happened. But Naledi simply stands still, feeling the ground shift under her. She walks home slowly, carrying only her empty lunchbox and the weight of disappointment. When she reaches the house, her father barely looks up before blaming her, saying her gentle nature kept her from learning what he calls real skills. His words sting deeply, but Naledi does not argue. She feels defeated, but she refuses to let his harsh judgment change who she is. That night, she lies awake listening to the sounds of the township, distant music, neighbors talking, footsteps on gravel roads. She thinks about all the hours she gave to that job, and wonders what will come next. Even though fear presses on her chest, she tries to calm herself by remembering how often life has pushed her down before, and how she always found a way to stand up again. She knows bitterness will only make her feel trapped, and she does not want her heart to turn cold. The next days are filled with searching. She walks from shop to shop, leaving her details wherever someone agrees to take them. Some people are kind, others barely listen. Still, she keeps moving because stopping would mean giving up on herself. Every rejection hurts, but she tries to breathe through it. She tells herself that the right door will open eventually, even if she cannot see it yet. At home, things grow tense. Her father mutters about expenses and repeats that softness has no place in their world. Naledi hears him but holds her silence. She knows arguing will only make things worse. Deep inside, she carries a quiet strength that he cannot see. She has always believed that compassion is a type of power, even if it is unseen. As she continues her search, Naledi begins to notice new possibilities, small signs of hope hidden between the struggles of everyday life. She still feels scared, but she also feels a strange pull towards something she cannot explain yet. She senses that losing her job might not be the end, but the beginning of a path she never expected. One afternoon Naledi finds a hungry little girl sitting quietly outside a closed shop, her small hands holding her empty stomach. The sight stops Naledi in her tracks. She has very little left for herself, only a simple meal she planned to save for dinner, but the child's tired eyes pull at her heart. Without thinking twice, she sits beside her and gently offers the food. The girl hesitates at first, then eats slowly, almost as if she cannot believe someone would share with her. Naledi watches her carefully, feeling a mix of sadness and warmth. Even though she has nothing certain in her life right now, giving this small kindness makes her feel stronger inside. As she gets up to leave, a neighbor who saw everything approaches her. The woman smiles softly and says she was touched by what Naledi did. She goes back into her home and returns with extra vegetables wrapped in a small cloth, telling Naledi to take them. The gesture surprises her. She was not expecting anything in return, but the neighbor insists, saying the world needs more people like her. Naledi thanks her with a shy smile, feeling a sudden spark of hope in her chest. The next day, word quietly spreads around the area. People who witnessed her act begin offering her small items. Some give fruit, others hand her bread, and a few bring leftovers that would have gone to waste. They tell her they want to help her continue showing kindness. Naledi feels overwhelmed by the attention, but grateful too. For the first time in weeks, she doesn't feel alone. As she walks through the township with these small gifts, she notices something changing in the air. People greet her more warmly. Children wave at her. Elders nod at her with respect. Her simple act of sharing has created something she never expected. A ripple of goodness moving from one person to another. Even though she is still struggling, these moments remind her that compassion grows when shared. She begins to understand that kindness has a power her father never taught her about. It not only feeds the stomach, but also touches the spirit. Each small contribution she receives becomes a sign that people believe in her heart. Naledi starts to feel that her future might not depend on money alone. Maybe it depends on courage, generosity, and the way people choose to lift one another in hard times. Naledi starts a small love table outside her home. Just a simple wooden surface with a handwritten note that says anyone can take food and anyone can leave food. She is nervous when she sets it up, unsure if people will understand or use it. On the first day, she places a few vegetables and a little bread that neighbors gave her. She steps back and watches from her doorway, hoping someone who needs it will come. Slowly, 3 families arrive. They look around shyly, then take what they need with quiet gratitude. Seeing this makes Naledi's heart beat faster, not from fear but from a feeling she has never felt this strongly before. Purpose. During the first week, the table stays small. A few bags of rice appear some days, sometimes only a handful of fruit. But every morning Naledi checks it, rearranges it, and wipes it clean like it is something precious. She notices people walking past and glancing at it, curious yet unsure. Many hesitate, but she keeps smiling and explaining that the table belongs to everyone. Little by little, more families begin to trust the idea. By the 3rd week, something unbelievable happens. The love table becomes busy from sunrise to evening. More than 40 families now depend on it, placing what they can and taking what they need. Mothers bring cooked porridge to share. An old man donates maize meal every Friday. Young boys help carry crates of fruit when someone drops off a big supply. The table overflows some days, and Naledi has to bring out extra boxes to hold everything. Other days it becomes almost empty, but someone always comes to refill it before the sun sets. Her act of kindness spreads across the township like a warm fire on a cold night. People talk about the table at shops, in taxis at work, and even in long lines at water taps. Neighbors who never spoke before now greet each other while leaving food. Children gather around, excited to help arrange items. Families who once struggled alone begin sharing their stories, feeling seen and supported. Naledi watches all of this with quiet amazement. What started as a tiny act from her heart has grown into something powerful. She realizes that caring for others creates a bond stronger than fear or hardship. The table becomes more than a place for food. It becomes a symbol of unity, reminding everyone that kindness can spread further than anyone expects. Her father scolds her for wasting time feeding strangers instead of finding work, his voice sharp and full of frustration. He cannot understand why she chooses to spend her days arranging food on a small table, instead of chasing jobs. Naledi listens quietly, but this time she does not allow his anger to crush her spirit. She knows what she is doing is important. She has seen mothers cry with relief, children smile with full stomachs, and struggling families find a little hope again. So she keeps going, even while his words echo painfully inside her. One morning, while she is organizing fresh vegetables someone dropped off, a man with a microphone and a cheerful smile approaches. He introduces himself as a local radio host who heard about the love table from a listener. Naledi blushes, surprised that someone outside her street even knows what she is doing. He asks her a few questions. Why she started it, how it helps families, and what it means to her. Naledi answers softly but honestly, telling him she only wanted people to feel cared for, even during hard days. A week later, the radio host broadcasts her story across the township. People everywhere hear about the young woman who, even without a job, is feeding families with nothing but kindness and courage. The response is immediate and overwhelming. Strangers start arriving at her home with bags of rice, large sacks of maize, tins of beans, and bottles of cooking oil. Some come in cars, others carry heavy loads on their heads. They thank her for inspiring them, and say they want to be part of the movement she began. Naledi watches in disbelief as her small table becomes surrounded by piles of food. Volunteers she has never met help her sort everything. Elderly women bless her. Young people offer to help deliver extra items to families who cannot walk. Her father stands at the doorway, shocked by the crowds forming outside their home. He says nothing this time. As more donations keep coming, Naledi realizes her act of compassion has grown far beyond anything she imagined. People come not just to give or take food but to share stories, offer help, and feel part of something bigger. The love table becomes a symbol of hope across the township, proving that even one gentle heart can spark a wave of change that touches countless lives. Naledi organizes volunteers, teaching them how to sort donations and deliver food to families in need. At first, just a few friends and neighbors help her carry small bags of rice and vegetables. She shows them where to place items on the table, how to make sure everyone gets something, and how to check if any family needs urgent assistance. Her careful planning turns chaos into order. Soon, even children pitch in by carrying lighter boxes, stacking them neatly, and greeting families with smiles. Everyone feels like part of something important. The love table grows into a full community pantry. People no longer only drop off small items. Some bring large boxes of groceries, canned goods, and fresh produce from markets or gardens. Naledi keeps track of everything, making sure the food is shared fairly, and that no family goes without. She develops a schedule for volunteers to deliver items to households far from the table, reaching corners of the township that had almost no support before. The pantry is no longer just a table. It becomes a hub where people meet, talk, and care for each other. Within 2 months, the reach of the project surprises even Naledi. Over 200 families are now receiving meals every week. Mothers write thank you notes, children draw colorful pictures, and some families even leave small gifts to show their appreciation. People who were struggling alone start forming small groups to help one another. Inspired by the love table, the energy of giving spreads through the streets, and the township feels more connected. Strangers become friends, neighbors support each other, and the idea of helping without expecting anything in return grows stronger every day. Naledi herself changes too. Her days are filled with planning, organizing, and guiding volunteers, but she feels a deep satisfaction she has never known. People stop her on the streets to greet her, children run to hug her, and elders nod in respect. Her father, who once scolded her for wasting time, now watches quietly, realizing her actions have brought the community together in a way money alone never could. In a short time, Naledi becomes a symbol of hope in the township. Her story spreads from street to street, and people start believing that one person's kindness can create real change. The love table is no longer just her project. It represents a movement of generosity, courage, and unity, showing everyone that even in a busy, crowded world, love can grow, feed, and inspire. Her father secretly visits the pantry one quiet morning, curious but unsure of what he will find. He walks slowly down the dusty street, hiding behind a corner, watching people gather around the love table. Families he has never noticed before kneel and bow their heads, whispering prayers and blessings over Naledi's name. Some mothers place their hands over their hearts. Children smile shyly while holding small gifts of thanks, and elders speak softly, expressing gratitude for the meals that have kept them going. His eyes widen, and he feels a strange, unfamiliar warmth growing inside him. He watches as volunteers, people from all corners of the township, carry bags of food to waiting families. Some trips are long and tiring, but the helpers keep smiling, encouraged by Naledi's guidance and kindness. Her face lights up every time a family receives their meal, and her gentle words comfort those who feel hopeless. The father begins to see something he never understood before: the power of compassion. It is not weakness, as he had always believed, but strength that feeds hearts, spirits, and communities. Tears start to fill his eyes. Memories of all the times he told Naledi that love cannot survive in the real world come rushing back. Now he sees proof that it not only survives, it grows, touches lives, and even heals hearts like his own. Standing behind the crowd, he quietly steps forward, picking up a bag of maize to help deliver. People glance at him with surprise, then smile, sensing his change. With every step, he feels lighter, no longer burdened by the fear that money alone sustains life. When he reaches Naledi, she looks up, surprised but happy. He bows his head and murmurs a sincere apology. He tells her he was wrong to dismiss her gentle heart, and that her vision has shown him a truth he never imagined. Together, they lift boxes of beans, carry baskets of vegetables, and laugh as children run to help them. The township watches the father who once scolded his daughter now working beside her, humbled and grateful. Finally he turns to Naledi, his voice soft but filled with wonder. "You were right. Love feeds nations." She smiles, feeling the years of struggle, doubt, and patience melt away. In that moment, the father understands that life is more than survival through money. It is survival through kindness, courage, and the connections we create. And Naledi's heart swells, knowing that her simple act of sharing has transformed not only her community, but the man who raised her. If you enjoyed Naledi's story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Stay tuned for our next video with another amazing story.